So I'm going to close this little talk with a quick analogy. We're going to call it the match analogy. Now, I don't have it fully developed, but when I give you a culture, so if you buy a bag of bugs or scud balls or something from me, it's like me handing you a match. So you get handed this match. Now, um, a match is very delicate. Yes, it can start a fire, but it also goes out really easy. So you got to be careful. I hand you the match, you got to hold it delicately and move it very slow and kind of, shield it from the wind. And then you're going to take that match and you're going to put it into a habitat. You're going to put some wood on it, some kindling, some real fine, specific habitat. Build the habitat, put the culture in the habitat, boom, you have fire. It's automatic. It's just like fire. So if you have the right conditions in place, fire just comes. It just poof starts growing. It's like magic on some level. You light that candle, you can light a million candles off that candle and that candle never goes out. So, there's something about fuel and oxygen and in different ratios. If everything's just right, the fire grows out of nowhere, it seems. So if everything's right in your jar or aquarium, it grows out of nowhere, it seems. So you set up the right kind of habitat, you put a culture of life in there, you put a living culture, you put a little bag of a diverse group of small little tiny creatures in your habitat that you set up, and boof, you have fire. Boof, it's gonna whoosh, it's gonna catch on fire. It's going to expand. It's going to grow on its own because that's the nature of what's happening. Growth, growing, reproduction. That's what's going on here on planet Earth. And you can really see that in an aquarium. So if you put together some natural materials like some dirt in the bottom, some sand, some gravel, some plants, some leaf litter, rocks, different nooks and crannies, and you put in the match. You light that match. You take that living culture and you put it into that habitat. Whoosh, fire. The conditions are right. Here comes the little fire, the fire god, the fire demon, the little whoosh. It's like an entity, and the same thing is happening in water. It's like, is that water alive or is it dead? Is that little environment rich? Is that little environment burning well, or is it burning too rich because there's too much fuel? Put too much fuel in and you put out the fire. Not enough fuel, you put out the fire. Like, at first it may seem like, dude, what are you talking about? But think about it. Like, the more you get on board with that, there's something that definitely is similar, something that resonates there. Too much fuel, you smother it, with fuel. If you've got a gallon jar, even a quarter inch slice of cucumber, that can foul a jar of water. That's too much fuel. Your fire is not big enough to burn that much fuel. So if you put that much fuel on it, it's going to put the fire out instead of make it bigger. It's a balance. It's very delicate. You have to observe it carefully. A little bit of fuel. You got a little tiny fire, put a little fuel on it, it's going to get a little bit bigger. But you're not going to smother it. You have a little tiny jar, put a little food in it, and it's going to grow inside. Now you're limited by water volume, so just because you start slow and get a little bit bigger, yes, you're going to grow the population of creatures inside. But the gallon jar is a limiting factor in size, so you have to be careful how much you feed. You can only feed so much. I would view an aquarium similar in the sense that Mother Nature is already doing her thing. So, the best thing you can do is leave your hands off of it. Manipulate some, sure. manipulate a lot if you want, but just know that you probably don't really like understand it as much as you think you do. And I don't mean that in disrespect to anyone at all. And there's nothing wrong with working your tank or manipulating a bunch. Nothing wrong with it at all. Um, I would just say remain open minded and understand that if that's not what you want to do, you don't have to do that. You can set things up in a way that are a little more hands off. And just because you say, I'm going to be a hands off aquarium keeper, that doesn't mean you can't put your hands in when you need to. And sometimes you need to. So I love you guys, seriously. And I can't be more thankful for the impact my audience is having in my life directly. So, this has been a wild ride so far, and I can't wait to see it further. Thank you very much.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.